I watched 4.5 hours of live stream, read through all of the product release notes, Twitter, all the Discord messages, and I've distilled it all down into one video, one place where you can get everything you need to know about Radiant Origins. Radiant Origins is the upcoming set for Grand Archive that releases on April 3rd. This is going to be considered a capstone set, the first one that Grand Archive is doing. And what is a capstone set? Capstone set is a set that looks back across previous sets, the world that Weebs of the Shore has built for Grand Archive, and it's going to provide every class, every champion, some amount of cards to bolster their mechanics. And capstone sets are going to be huge sets as well. 481 unique cards are going to be in this set, with over 700 foil variants across the entire set as well. So this thing is massive. This thing is also incredibly expensive. Just like with other sets like Distorted Reflections and Mortal Ambition, it's going to be 12 card booster packs, 24 booster packs per box, and 6 booster boxes per case. And MSRP for Radiant Origins comes in at an eye-watering $191.99. That is USD. For perspective, Distorted Reflections, MSRP for a booster box of that set was $107.99 USD. That is an $84 difference. But what are you getting for this increase in price? And you are getting a lot for this price difference. The booster boxes themselves, these are durable boxes with magnetic lids to them. They look quite cool. Truthfully, I don't know how many of these I really want to keep around. They are nice, and I'm really curious to see what these look like in person. But I do also expect that I will have a ton of these, way more than I could ever use, and I will just be giving them out to my locals as well so they can have them for card storage. But it is what looks like a really nice box that these cards will come in. But that's really not what's important here. Let's get into what you're actually getting for this $84 difference here. You're getting 2.5 times the amount of SRs and UR rarity cards that you would normally get in a booster box. So that means you should hit, I think on the very low end, 13 SRs in a booster box. And I think the high end is going to be 15 SRs. So that is a lot more than we've ever seen before. Typically, you'll get 6 SRs in a booster box, and now we're looking at maybe hitting 14, 15. So huge increase there. And you don't have to worry about just hitting one UR and possibly not getting the one you're after. In these booster boxes, we're looking at, it sounds like 2 to 3 URs as well within a booster box of this upcoming set. And we're also getting twice the amount of rarity cards. So you're looking at 34 rares within a booster box compared to the typical 17 that we've seen in other sets before. So a huge increase in what actually you will pull from a booster box. Oh, and we're also seeing an increase in foils. So you're looking at 4 or 5 foils per booster box. CSRs as well. You're looking at hitting a CSR in 1 in 8 to 9 booster boxes. And then they're also bringing back armaments. I'll talk a little bit more about these in a little bit. But an armament card should be found in 1 in 5 booster boxes as well. So higher odds, a lot more pulls than we've ever seen before. It also, I think honestly, will work out for players better than previous sets here, just due to the amount of rares, SRs, and URs that are in an individual box. If you're somebody that just buys a box or 2 per set, I think you'll actually be quite happy with the results that you have if you open up Radiant Origins. But the astute of you may have realized that the math is not exactly mathing here. If we have 24 booster packs in a booster box, and we're supposed to have 14 SRs, 2 to 3 URs, 34 rares, we're very much above what actually is typically found within a booster pack. That is because for Radiant Origins, how these packs are made up is entirely different. Within booster packs, you're going to have a secondary slot. It is going to have approximately a 50% hit rate, and this is going to be the slot where reprints can be found. So these are going to be reprinted rares, SRs, URs, but half of your booster packs should have reprints in there as well. And these are very targeted reprints as well. And I think this is super smart. If you're going to do reprints in a set, it's best to do it in this way that is very focused and very directed. Here's why. So let's say you're somebody like me. I've been playing Grand Archive effectively since the game released, and every set I do my best to get a playset of nearly everything that I could possibly ever play. So I am somebody who doesn't necessarily need a lot of reprints. That's really not what I'm after. So if I was to just open up a booster box and it was a situation where the reprints and the new cards were all mixed together, and the box that I opened is mainly weighted on reprints, well, that's disappointing for me because I was looking for those new cards. But if you're a player that's newer to the game, or you're still looking to grow your collection of cards from previous sets, this is actually going to give you the best of both worlds. So you have a dedicated slot where you'll find reprints, likely reprints, in-demand reprints that you are after. And then you've got the other traditional slot within the pack that's going to have the new cards. So your new rares, your new SRs, your new URs, commons, uncommons, all of these are going to be there. I think this is a great system, and I think it's going to provide people a good opening experience as well. I think everyone from somebody like myself to a newer player or somebody who's still building on a collection will appreciate and find the cards that really they're after. Now let's talk about actually what these reprints are, because there's a lot of them. And I'll show on the screen a list of what they've shown us as far as what is going to be placed within this reprint slot. And I would encourage you as well to pause the video just for a moment and maybe read through this, but I'll at least kind of run through some of the ones that stand out to me as exciting reprints here. So we have Flame Sweep, Rending Flames, Fracturize, Lunette, Dream Fairy, Ensnaring Fumes, Innervate Agility, The Majestic Spirit, Bestial Frenzy, Blanche, Arthur, Beseech, Ghosts of Pendragon, Grand Crusader's Ring, all three of the Serene Spirits, Quicksilver Grail, Lost Providence, and The Looking Glass. And that's just, again, just a part of this list. I'm not going through all of it. I bet there's some stuff that's getting reprinted that you're going to find really appealing and really exciting that I didn't just list out. So again, pause the video real quick if you want to read through that. And these reprints are incredibly important. Most of these reprints, you may have noticed, come from the first two sets, Dawn of Ashes and Fractured Crown. These sets were not readily available in many parts of the globe. So this is an opportunity for people in SEA, Europe, Japan, Korea is now also running Grand Archive, which is cool. I saw that the other day. This is going to be their chance to get all of these staple cards from early on in the game's life. And Silidar made a really interesting comment during the live stream as well, and I'll read it here. With regards to the reprint pool, all of these cards will use their previous art and only be available as non-foils, with the exception being Grand Crusader's Ring, Quicksilver Grail, Lost Providence, and The Looking Glass, all of which will have new art and also have foil variants. What those variants are, what they look like, we're going to have to find out, I think, a little bit later, but they will be coming alongside everything else within this set. And as if this product already isn't getting pretty complicated, there's quite a bit more that I need to tell you about. So the token slot for Radiant Origins, this is going to be a little bit different than what we've seen before. If you're somebody like me that usually buys a case or two, you very quickly have way more tokens than you could ever have a use for, and that's changing a little bit with Radiant Origins. So the token slot will also be shared with cards that are printed in the Pantheon pre-constructed decks. So those 4 decks that are coming out alongside Radiant Origins, those cards will also show up at times within the token slot. And this set, at least for first edition, will also include Curio foils. So those are coming back, originally seen in the previous set, Phantom Monarchs. These are population 100 special foiling done for commons and uncommons. So quite hard to find. Not a lot of these printed for any of them. So these are going to be highly sought after. What was cool that they mentioned as well is that there's going to be a whole new foiling style. So kind of that cracked glass look that was going on with the Phantom Monarchs ones. We're moving away from that. There'll be an entirely new foiling design that is going to be used for this new set. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but armaments are coming back. Some of you may know what armaments are, but many of you probably haven't seen one of these before. They are from way back from Fractured Crown. They were highly sought after variants of regalia cards, and they were cards with this really cool kind of interesting 3D effect that went on for them. They were super cool. Personally, armaments are one of my favorite things that Grand Archive has ever done. I just think they look really cool. I think they stand out as well. And there's going to be 21 different armaments available for you to pull as well. So this is a pretty large list of armaments available. And then I'm going to wrap this up by going through some of the kind of little things that Silidar said kind of in passing, but also some of this was just things that he just kind of said. And frankly, I think he maybe said a little too much at times compared to probably what they were wanting to actually provide as far as information for the set. So I think some of this here is going to be quite valuable, and I think you'll find it interesting. So over 50% of the new cards in Radiant Origins are advanced element cards. So there's a big focus that's being put on decks going to level 3. And a part of these decks going to level 3 is going to be this new Angels ally type. So Angels is going to be an ally type within the set. As far as the lore is concerned, Angels come from the homeworld, and Angels' primary attribute is going to be to bolster decks that are focused on reaching their advanced element. So you're looking at cards that will help you get to level 3 easier, take some pressure off of you. We don't really know exactly what a lot of these are going to look like quite yet. But what is interesting that was kind of said during the live stream is that some players may remember the card Trisket. And Trisket, come to find out, is one of these angels from the homeworld. So kind of a cool little tidbit there. One feature that I'm really excited about that's going on for Radiant Origins is that they are printing support for more niche archetypes. So these are archetypes that were from earlier in the game's life. One of the ones they use as an example is actually right at home for me. It was a unique ally fire cleric named Zen that is there to support fire Arasana decks that are looking to gather herbs. Super, super cool. Weebs, I feel seen right now. There are maybe a dozen of us that give a shit about fire Arasana gathering decks. But trust me, we all appreciate this. And it's a good sign of what's to come for other champions with their strategies that are a little less outside of the meta. I think there will be a lot here for all these kind of pet decks that we all seem to like to gravitate towards. Oh, I should have mentioned this one earlier too. So for CSRs, for this new set, they're doing something a little different. In fact, a lot different. They're doing CSR spirits for the Serene Spirits, the Fractured Spirits, and the Fortuitous Spirits. And they're going to feature 9 different champions, and they said these were crowd favorite champions. Each one of these 9 champions will be featured for all 3 of these spirits. So their example was Nico. It was a water spirit for Nico that showed this character with the Serene Spirit, the Fractured Spirit, and the Fortuitous. And this will be the same for these other 9 champions that are going to be featured on these CSRs. So a bunch of CSRs. I'm really excited to see kind of what champions they choose, and of those champions, which element they assign to those champions as well. There is also 26 new URs within Radiant Origins. So these are not reprints, these are new URs. And many of these are actually going to be cards that they feel fairly confident aren't going to be 4-ofs or must-haves for many meta decks. And these are going to be what they're calling ultimates. These are kind of game-ending effects, and they're things that are also, I think, costed pretty heavily as well. The expectation is that a deck may want 1 or 2 of these within it, but very unlikely that many decks are going to want 4 of them. And I think the idea that they have here is that Since these ultimates are going to be very much kind of focused on a particular champion and that champion's game plan, it's going to be advanced element, but they're not something that you're going to splash from one deck to another. They're very much kind of focused. And since you're not really wanting to have what sounds like a playset of these are going to be really good opportunities to trade with other people, either at Ascents or at your locals. So as an example, let's say I really like Arasana. Arasana is what I play mostly. When I opened up my Radiant Origins, I didn't happen to pull the Arasana Ultimate. However, you did. Congratulations. But I opened up the Crux Lorraine Ultimate, and you are a huge simp for old Lorraine, and you really like playing Crux. These cards aren't going to be super valuable, so it's going to be a good opportunity for us to maybe just trade back and forth. I want the Astra one, you want the Crux one. Let's just do an even trade right there. I think that's really cool. I think that's also kind of a smart approach as well, to kind of using that UR slot in a way that, from what it sounds like, is going to cause these to not shoot up super high in value, but still be sought after. You know, it's really nice whenever you hit a UR that is played. And it is really nice also whenever you hit a UR that is really played. Let's think 3 visits. Problem is that if it's a UR that is super playable and you need a play set of him for a deck or 2 within the format, the price, it gets high very quickly. Whereas I think this approach with the ultimates is going to keep the prices much more reasonable without making the cards feel bad to pull or feel like you didn't get your money's worth. And I guess it's worth mentioning too, some of these ultimates as well will have the SR rarity on it as well. So it's not purely URs. They're going to fit within both SR and UR. And lastly, and what I think is honestly kind of a shocker, that's why I saved it for the end, is Silidar kind of mentioned this kind of out of nowhere towards the end. There's no new Divine Relic for Radiant Origins. All the Divine Relics that are going to be in Radiant Origins, all of these are going to be reprints. So there's no Chase Divine Relic, which I think is super cool. This set is massive. And if they would have risked it and they printed a Divine Relic that ended up being really good, that can only be found in Radiant Origins, with a set this big, I think they could have ended up in a pretty bad spot. And I think it was really smart of them to just go ahead and, for the first time ever, not put a new Divine Relic within a first edition box. And that's it. Again, that is everything. This is everything from over 4.5 hours of the live stream. This is everything from the product sheet. This is me combing through Twitter. This is me combing through Discord. And I want to thank you for checking out my video today and watching it till the end. Grand Archive is a game that I think is very special, and I really do enjoy making content about it. If you could do me a favor, I would appreciate it if you could hit the like button and subscribe. And lastly, it would really help me if you could place a comment as well. Let me know, what are you excited about for Radiant Origins? Or maybe, what are you concerned about? This is the first time that Weebs of the Shore is doing a set like this. It is massive. And frankly, if you kind of listen to this whole video, the breakdown of how these boxes are constructed and what you can pull, it's all kind of complicated. So what do you think about all this? This is breaking away from the norm in a pretty substantial way. So let me know in the comments your thoughts. I've been Murgledew. Thank you for your time today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.